The new bride was being welcomed with songs. Radha was waiting for her to reach the door with a platter of artai in her hand. Mongol songs were being sung inside the house. Some women were discussing among themselves about the new daughter-in-law standing with Radha. After some time, Sheetal was standing at the door of her in-law's house with her husband Shekhar, bound by a sly alliance. Shekhar, who was fascinated by the beauty of Sheetal, who was wearing 16 makeup with a red lehenga, was looking towards her. Seeing this, there was no limit to Radha's happiness. First, he performed the artai of the newlywed couple and then placed a silver urn filled with rice in front of Chandrika to complete the process of entering the house. Sheetal takes a step inside the house with Shekhar after she drops the kalash of rice inward with her right foot. Then a woman brings the red color dissolved in the silver layer and puts it in front of Sheetal. A wide white cloth strip is laid in front of that layer. Shekhar stands apart with Sheetal's veil of alliance and Sheetal moves forward keeping her feet in the parrot. Taking her feet out of the parrot, Sheetal moves forward making her red-colored footprints on that white-colored cloth. As soon as it moves ahead, the fallen urn automatically straightens. The scattered rice gets filled inside the kalash and the footprints are automatically erased with the white cloth. According to the family tradition of Radha, the newlyweds will have to stay alone in their room for 8 days after the Griha Pravesh. In the meantime, she will try to adjust to strangers in the new environment. These 8 days were also a severe test of a man's restraint and patience. During these 8 days he could not enter his wife's room at night. After all the rituals were over, Sheetal was taken to her room. Diyas were lit in the room. The room was smelling of fragrant perfume. The bed was covered with a red sheet, over which a white blanket was spread half open. Shutting the door of the room, Sheetal opened her veil and breathed a sigh of relief. He found this tradition somewhat strange. But seeing the good education hidden in it, she explains herself. Due to marriage fatigue, Sheetal falls asleep as soon as she lies on the bed. Suddenly in the middle of the night Sheetal woke up. He could hear the banging of bangles. He got up and saw that there was another bride sitting there dressed exactly like her, with a veil on her face. Sheetal was scared to see him suddenly in her room. As soon as Sheetal gets up and goes to him, she walks slowly and walks out. Sheetal also makes many calls to her but she does not stop. Finally Sheetal starts following her. When Sheetal runs out of her room chasing the bride, she finds that she is standing on the top floor of a palatial mansion. How many floors this mansion had, it was not possible for anyone to say. Standing on this floor, all the things below were looking like an ant to Sheetal. Every floor of this mansion was exactly the same. The whole Haveli was made of red-colored stones. There were 40 rooms on each floor of this square Haveli. There were 10 rooms on each side. After every 10 rooms there was a winding staircase. The 4 walls and the stone pillars adjoining them had similar carvings and paintings. There was a big courtyard in the middle. Sheetal was surprised to see all this for a while but she found it all familiar. How did I come here? I did not even climb the stairs, and when I was standing outside this house it was not a mansion but a small house, but now there is a Haveli here. What is happening with all this? I do not understand anything. Why do I find this place so visited? Sheetal asked himself. Sheetal was thinking all this that she remembered that she was chasing a bride like her. As soon as he remembered this, he looked here and there but he did not see anyone there. Perhaps when Sheetal got into thinking after seeing the mansion, then she ran away from there after getting the opportunity. Sheetal was about to take her steps to find him when someone from behind puts his hand on his shoulder. When she looks back in panic, her mother-in-law Radha was standing there smiling. On seeing them, Chandrika shudders and raises her hand to hold her chunari to palu her head. Only then does he remember that he had come out like this in the pursuit of that bride. As soon as he got so much attention, his eyes bowed down. "What are you doing here, daughter-in-law?" Radha asks, looking at him with a prying eye. "Mother, I had seen another bride in my room. As soon as I tried to talk to her, she came here running." Saying this, when Sheetal tries to show Radha the place by turning back, her surprise knew no bounds. She saw that she was not standing in a mansion but in the same small house in which she had come a while back. She was standing at the back of the house. There was nothing like what he had just seen. "What happened, Bahurani? What are you doing here all night long?" As if Radha had not heard anything. "Didn't ask for anything, it was just feeling a little hot, so I had come here." "Sorry Mom, this mistake will not happen in future." Sheetal nodded his head. He didn't know what else to say. "Okay. This is your first mistake, so I forgive you, but remember, such mistake should not happen again. Whatever you will need from him, you will tell him." As soon as Radha says this, an old lady comes forward walking with the help of sticks. The old lady was wearing a black dress. The skin of his hands had shriveled up and clinging to his bones, so that his old age could be inferred as he had put a long veil over his face. The 10 fingers of his hands were decorated with huge stones in the form of rings. Her name is Triphala. She has served our family for years and continues to do so. From today onwards she will be with you. Now let's go to our room and relax. Tomorrow morning the rest of the rituals have to be done. Get up early. Saying this, Radha turns back towards the room and leaves. Sheetal and Triphala also follow them when the veiled bride is watching them leave. That's all in this part. Subscribe to our Hindi horror story channel to see the next part. Thank you.